Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, where we break down the financial jungle gym and try not to get lost in the numbers. Today we're diving into Atlantic Union Bankshares Corporation's latest report, and let's just say things are looking orderly, very orderly. Alright, so officially this report is filed on August 1, 2025. It's a current report, meaning something noteworthy has happened recently for Atlantic Union Bankshares. Now what could that be? Well, the core of this filing points to a presentation that management plans to use when talking to investors and analysts during the third quarter of 2025. Think of it as a state of the union for the company, but focus purely on the money side of things. It's designed to help everyone understand where Atlantic Union stands, and importantly, where it's potentially going. This is Atlantic Union Bankshares Corporation. They're a company whose shares are traded on a big exchange, the New York Stock Exchange. They have common stock, which is basically the regular ownership shares of the company. But then there's a special kind of stock called preferred stock. This one is particularly interesting. It's issued in depository shares, meaning a group of these shares are held together and then sold as individual units. This specific series is Series A, has a fixed dividend rate of 6.875%, and it's perpetual and non-cumulative. Perpetual means it doesn't have an end date, and non-cumulative means if the company misses a dividend payment, it doesn't have to make up for it later. You can think of preferred stock as a middle ground between regular stock and bonds. The main event here is under Regulation FD, which is all about fair disclosure. Companies have to make sure that important non-public information is shared with everyone at the same time. This report announces that they are providing a handout with information that management will use in investor meetings. So what you're really seeing here is the official announcement of this investor presentation. It's not the presentation itself, but the filing that says, hey, we're going to share some new information with investors. This information is intended to help people understand the company's position. They also mention it will be available on their investor relations website, which is a pretty standard practice for companies these days. And then we get to the exhibits. This section tells us what supporting documents are attached. Exhibit 99.1 is, as we suspected, the investor presentation. This is where the real juicy details are usually found, but unfortunately, we don't have the content of that presentation directly in this filing. This document is more of a notification that such a presentation exists and will be used. Exhibit 104 is about the cover page data. It's like an electronic filing enhancer, making the basic information on the first page easily readable by computers. It's important for regulatory compliance and data processing, but not something that gives us insight into the company's performance itself. And finally, the report is signed off by Robert M. Gorman, who is the Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer. This signifies that the CFO has reviewed and approved the filing. Now let's talk strategy and what this all means. The fact that they're putting together a new investor presentation suggests they want to communicate a clear message about their performance and future outlook. In the world of banking, especially in the second half of 2012, favorably to attract investors and assure them that their money is in a safe and growing enterprise. Without the actual content of the investor presentation, it's hard to give a detailed financial analysis. However, the filing itself signifies a proactive move to engage with the market. They are likely highlighting their financial strengths, perhaps discussing their loan portfolio, deposit growth, or profitability. They might also be addressing any industry-wide challenges or explaining how their specific strategies are designed to navigate them. Think about it this way. If you were going to a big meeting to convince people to invest in your business, you'd meticulously prepare a presentation. This filing is the formal announcement that such a preparation is underway and the results of that work will be shared. It's a signal of transparency and a commitment to keeping the investment community informed. Here at Corporate Decoder, we always look for the underlying story. In this case, the story is about communication and positioning. Atlantic Union Bankshares is actively managing its narrative with investors. They want to ensure that as they engage in meetings, stakeholders have a clear and consistent understanding of the company's health and direction. Looking at the bigger picture in the banking sector, success often hinges on careful risk management, efficient operations, and a keen understanding of market trends. Companies that can effectively communicate their strategies and demonstrate resilience in the face of economic fluctuations are typically rewarded by the market with higher valuations and greater investor confidence. While we don't have specific numbers to dissect from their performance tables, the very act of preparing and distributing these materials indicates a focus on investor relations and financial transparency. This is generally a positive sign. It suggests leadership is keen on aligning investor expectations with the company's reality. Now, let us consider the broader implications. If management is presenting a positive outlook, we'd want to see that backed by solid historical performance and a clear plan for future growth. Are they expanding their loan book, increasing fee income, or managing their costs effectively? These are the kinds of questions an investor presentation would typically answer. From a Warren Buffett-esque perspective, we're looking for a business that's understandable, has durable competitive advantages, and is run by competent and honest people. While this filing doesn't give us enough to make a definitive judgment on all those points, the act of robust investor communication suggests a level of professionalism and a desire to be understood. The risks for a bank like Atlantic Union are always present. They include credit risk, the chance that borrowers won't repay their loans, interest rate risk, which can impact profitability, and operational risks like cybersecurity threats or internal control failures. A good investor presentation would likely touch upon how they are mitigating these risks. In conclusion, this filing is less about revealing new financial data and more about the ongoing process of corporate communication and investor engagement. Atlantic Union Bankshares is preparing to share its story, and we'll be watching for subsequent releases to see the details of that narrative. It's a sign they are actively managing their public image and financial narrative. What do you think this proactive communication means for Atlantic Union Bankshares? Does it signal strength or something else? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, smash that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into corporate finance, and don't forget to join our Discord community through the link in the description for more lively discussions. Thanks for tuning in.